Hello, Jimmy Smith here. Welcome to my channel on this world of YouTube, and welcome to a series here on Austria. So my channel is designed to help those of you who are interested in wine. If there's a certain thing about it, like Austria, for example, you want to learn more, you'll find the information right here. If you are studying, then it's really useful for you because this follows the WSET level 4 or the Diploma syllabus. So, of course, you can get the information you need for your studies. Now, we are looking at Austria, and we're on series 2, looking at Lower Austria, the Niederösterreich. And it's in a 6-parter. This is part 2, looking at Kremstal. Parts 3 to 6 will only be available of those of you that actually subscribe to my e-learning portal. That's www.winewithjimmy.com. And thank you so much to the thousands of you that do actually subscribe to that portal. Lots of very wonderful content there to help you with your studies, such as exclusive video content and lots of educational resources to help you really understand your topics. So we're going to look at the world of Kremstal. If you do have any comments or questions, perhaps you've been here, you've been to this area where the Krems flows into the Danube, or you've visited Austria, you like the wines, you sell the wines, get in touch. It'd be great to hear from you. So, of course, Lower Austria. Now, if you have watched the previous video, you've seen this before. This is the whole of Austria, and in red there, or in Burgundy, is the Niederösterreich, the Lower Austria area. This is Austria's largest grape growing region and mostly dominated by white varietals. Most of Austria's famous vineyards are found here. Now, we are looking at the map of Niederösterreich on the left-hand side. We focused on Wachau in the previous video, and we're going just to the north and to the northeast of it, where we find Kremstal. So it's situated around the town of Krems, and it borders Wachau to the west, as we just have found out. And here you will see I've blown up the region of Kremstal. So Wachau would sit just off to the west, right here off the Danube. And we have Kremstal there, so around the city of Krems. Now, this area is influenced by the warm Pannonian plain to the east, and therefore we have a higher percentage of some black varieties like Zweigelt being grown because it is warmer than Wachau, which sits to the west. This is especially true in the collection of vineyards in the southern section down here, where Zweigelt tends to be a little bit more stronger in production. Now, the vineyards in the Kremstal area are divided into 3 distinct areas. The historic city of Krems, which is just located here, and that is where you get the Western Stein district borders directly to the Wachau area. Then you get the Krems Valley, which is basically the area that comes up here. So that's your Krems Valley. And that is an area where you get very thick, loess soil deposits. And finally, the small villages to the south of the Danube, that collection where we find a bit more Zweigelt, like I mentioned. Now, this is clustered around the rather imposing Gottwig Abbey in this southern section, if you have heard of it before. Now, this is Kremstal figures as a total, not in those 3 areas, but collectively. And these are your grape varieties you have in play here. So somewhat like 2,200 hectares grown in this area. And the production you'll see is once again dominated by Riesling and Gruner Veltliner, not to the high extent of Wachau, which was over 80% with those 2, but around 70%. And that includes about 59% for Gruner and about 11% for Riesling. But the sneaky higher number of a black variety called Zweigelt I mentioned specifically in that area to the south of the Danube, accounting for about 12% of the production. Now, DAC Kremstal wines must be Riesling or Grüner Veltliner, and red wines from this region will be labelled as Niederösterreich, and that accounts for a total of about close to 15% in total production. There you go, that number down here, very close to 15%. It can't be labelled as a Kremstal DAC if it is a black variety, so it will be Niederösterreich, Lower Austria. So let's start to look at the climate and geology here. So first of all, your climate. Now, like the neighbouring Kremstal, which we will cover in the next video, and Wachau, which was covered in the previous video, the Kremstal is located in an area of climatic confluence and perhaps, to put it dramatically, tension. The chiseled river valley is well protected against cold winds from the north, whilst warm air currents of the Pannonian climate zone can be keenly felt from the east, slightly sort of southeast. This means that the Kremstal, although situated further west than the Kremstal, benefits from actually warmer air currents. And that's why we generally get riper, more aromatic character in the Kremstal wines as a rule of thumb. This is the Kremser Sanggruber from Weingart Zimmermann that you see in this picture. The geology is what we will look at next. Now, the major rock in the region is primarily the sort of carbony loess soils, which in places has built up over several layers over many epochs. So this is the Rosshimmel vineyards in the background, and here is a collection of loess in the foreground. It can be found overlaying the crystalline rocks as well as the older gravel, sands and clays, specifically around the Danube terraces. Most of the famous vineyards are found on loess. You'll find Pfaffenberg, Kogel, Wachtberg, Sanggruber, Bellingen, Gaebling, Spiegel, Steinbuchel, and they are producing single vineyard wines which are full of distinctive character. So some producers that we find here. So first of all, Grüner Veltliner and Riesling are made in dry styles, as we'd expect, with high levels of acidity. Both are medium to full-bodied here, depending on the site, and they are good to outstanding with mid to premium pricing. Producers like Salomon Undorf, Lenz Moser, and also the important cooperative, which is the Weingut Krems, that you see a bottle on the right-hand side. Another one here as well. So the red wines. So these are made generally in that southern area, like I've mentioned, and labelled as Niederösterreich. And most of them are made from Zweigelt. Of course, remember that Zweigelt accounts for about 12% of the 15% total of red wine. So very little other grape varieties grown. They tend to be refreshing, medium plus to high levels of acidity with medium tannin and body with a mixture of red and black fruits. They tend to be good, and very good value for money. So good to very good quality and sort of mid-priced in terms of their price point. Here is the Geerhofstockwerk Zweigelt that you see in this picture. Great label. Okay, well, that brings me to a conclusion of the Kremstal. Please join me for the Kremstal next on part 3. But until next time, I've been Jimmy Smith. See you very soon. Goodbye for now. Goodbye.